guys, how we doing? I've decided to pop on 1st of September. How did that happen? I really can't believe it. I've got the grandchildren going back to school this week, but one of them goes back on Friday and they both go back next Monday, so a bit of spare time on my hands. And they're both in secondary school now. Can't believe that happened. Excuse the light, it's dark here. I did intend on filming this earlier on, but we had a bit of a day. It was a good day. I had the two granddaughters, I had the two granddaughters round today and we baked a cake. Now when I say we baked a cake, I decided to teach them how to make a basic sponge. Gave them a set of scales each, a bowl, a spoon and 2 eggs, and went from there, weighed the eggs, and then you weigh the same amount of butter, sugar and flour and you mix them up and cook. Yeah, we did all that and we've had a day together. We weren't able to go out, it kept raining, but we've had a day. And I just didn't get around to having time to myself until now. And I've got no idea what the time is. I haven't got a watch on and my phone's not on me. But what I did do earlier today was I had an email from Pinterest to say about, we think these things, you'd be interested in these things, and it made me think, Ravelry, like I do. And went and looked up a few things autumn-wise, and I thought we would start off September with a look at autumn. I'm sorry if you can. This keeps distracting me. Our floorboards upstairs are rather creaky, and if you can hear them, I'm sorry, but I keep stopping to listen to them. And I've forgotten what I was saying. Yeah, I cannot wait for autumn. I've loved the summer, don't get me wrong. We've been out blackberry picking, we've made jam. We've enjoyed the summer as much as we possibly can, but I'm ready to start cozying up, and I'm ready for quiet evenings, and I want to see the leaves change. I just want to enjoy it all. I want to get back to doing this, so I'm going to see what I can do through September. We are away next week, but before I go into all of that, let's just go and watch media voiceover of the wonderful things I found on Ravelry earlier, and I'll be back in a moment, so enjoy. So let's start with what caught my eye for autumn crafting with knitting and crochet. We start off with the autumnal equinox blanket by Standard. So sorry, I'm going too fast to voice over here. It looks like a really simple knit blanket that could be any size depending on what yarn you use, and the colour choices look great. So it could be a scrappy, it could be a coordinated, and I like the look of this one. It's a little bit different for a baby's blanket, but at the same time it's a bit original too. So we work over our way to the first pumpkin that took my eye, which is a knitted one made with Aran and 5.5mm needles. And I think this one caught my eye because it looks completely different, whatever, with all different yarns. It was a nice looking pumpkin. Usually with something like this you think amigurumi and crochet, but this one caught my eye because it was knitted and I do like the look of it, especially the ones in the brown orange hues. This one's a bit more like traditional. What you think? These are the ones that caught my eye. Whether would you say they were tweedy, heathered, all different types of yarn used as examples. Then we got on to the autumn scenes for socks. Now this comes under knitting, but it's not actually a knitting pattern. It's a graph, I think, for duplicate stitches to sew on top of your knitting. But I'm pretty sure if there is a graph, you could knit it, or you could crochet it, or you could cross stitch it. Use your imagination with that one. Then we move over to cozy autumn socks. I had to get a pair of socks in there somewhere. And the reason these got to me, made me think autumn, was all the children are going back to school, and the pattern themselves remind me of old-fashioned school socks. And I love that every different colour gives a different vibe. And then we move on to the autumn harvest knit pillow, and oh, so cute, squirrels. I love a squirrel, or I can't remember what we used to call them now. But also with these, you've got the charts. You could use them for socks, pillows, clothes, cushions, scarves, hats, whatever your heart desires. And all these patterns are free on the website if you follow the links. But that one was cute. I do love a squirrel. Then we move on to the Autumn Ripple Scarf by Luann Greer. I hope I said that right. And I love this one for the fact that a ripple is quite simple when you get the hang of it, and can be used for anything that come out wrong. You could use it for temperature blankets, you could use it for scarves, you could use it for blankets. It made me think of Harry Potter and doing it in the house colours. Although you will discover I've got Harry Potter on the mind today. I don't know why, it just is something that came over me when I was looking at a lot of these. Maybe it's all the pumpkins. Now, Autumn Leaf Shawl. Now this one is fairly simple with the triangular shawl, and they've added leaf motifs to dress it up. Although I don't know why on these projects the leaves aren't the same as the ones on this example, but it's pretty effective. It just shows how you can zhuzh up a simple thing with a few appliques. Autumn Leaf, I will link all these down below, and this set can be done as an applique, a doily, a rug, a thicker yarn, and a larger crochet hook will make a bigger leaf, obviously. And I can see these being used as coasters, washcloths even, to have led about looking pretty. There could be a lot of uses for them, but I think they just look pretty. Just a few put around as coasters would look lovely in this weather. And again, it depends on the yarn choice in your decor. Then we move on to the Wheat Stitch Pumpkin Spice Crochet Trio by Brianna K Designs. And I like these because we've got a sort of a rainbow coloured with a white base, and we've got solid bases, and it gives a completely different vibe depending on what you use. It just shows what difference your yarn choice can make, and again depending on the size of your yarn. This one's used crochet thread. You've got different sizes as well, and I do like those. And then we move on to the Autumn Pumpkin by Anna Helene, and it's a fairly simple one, it really is. And what I like about this one is it also has a crochet stalk. A lot of the pumpkins you get patterns for rely on you having a stick or a cinnamon stick or something to put in there for the stalk, and this one has its own stalk or vine. So I quite like the idea of that one too. It's simple, but sometimes simple is best. And again, your yarn choice makes or breaks it. Can't talk again today, sorry folks. Then we move on to another what looks like quite a simple one. And I like it's simple, and once you've got a base, somebody else has done one and they've used Christmas appliques or Christmas bits on it, as I'm showing you here. So you can change it around, a bow, some different shapes, and this one is flowers and different types of pumpkin. And as you'll see, I am having trouble in the moment putting this one back down, reducing it back in size and clicking out of this one, but you do at least get to see that there's two different types of pumpkins and two different sizes of flowers. It's just simple and pretty. Then we've got the Autumn Crunch Carol by Pine Tree Design, and this kind of from distance reminded me of the houndstooth pattern, but it's not. I think it's a crunch stitch, I think it's called. And this can be so unisex. It can be for male, female, or anybody really, depending on the colours. And it's a very classic style stitch used with these two colours. Of course, you don't have to use it with just two colours. I could see it done with a dark background and some really bright rainbow stripes in between where the pale ones are. Now the next one really did scream Harry Potter to me. With colours used and all the different stitches, it made me think of something that Molly Weasley would create for one of her children or herself to keep her warm. And in those colours, it just does scream Molly Weasley to me. Of course, when we get on to see other people's examples and they've done different colours, it's not so much. But in my mind, as I said, I've got Harry Potter on the brain today. Very nice. It's something you can play with if you're not sure what you want to do and you're not in the mood for something monotonous. It's something you could play at. You could even create your own if you can work out the stitches so they'd all stay the same width as you did them. Very nice indeed. So this is what I came up with. Oh, we've got a couple more. Sorry, the Autumn Week hat, another one by Brianna Kay, which I think it's the same stitch used on the pumpkins earlier. And this hat comes in all different sizes. Now I'm not sure if the free link does all the sizes or just one or two. But in this example you see people have used one stalk of each, or they've used more than one. And it looks very adaptable pattern. You can choose yourself how many you're going to have. And the last one is the Autumn Bounty Garland. Now earlier on when I looked at this, I couldn't find a link to download it, and then I found it. So here I am downloading it to see if it does work. And it's not just the garland that's in this download. Obviously I won't show you the whole download or the PDF, because if you want it you'll have to get it for yourself. But it's through Sheepies, is it called? Pretty Little Things, and we've got different things to make up there. And here I am saving it. But this is these are the things that screamed autumn to me this morning. The kids go back to school this week and the weather's changing, and I'm really looking forward to a change in season and to start afresh almost. So I hope maybe you found something that you liked. Let me know if you did, and I'll be back in a moment. So, anything there that you found interesting? There was enough to get me thinking and to get my creative juices flowing, shall we say. I've just watched a Daddy Longlegs fly through and back, and it really stumped me for a moment because I couldn't see what it was. But what I was thinking, I had missed out, and for some reason I never got any fingerless gloves or mittens come up when I was looking through these things, which is rather strange because of the weather changing. So I think I have got a list, I don't know if it's on Pinterest or Ravelry, with those in. So if you've got any interest in seeing some patterns for those, let me know and I'll show you those next. But is there anything you would make? I'm sorry, it's been a long day and my head is just not keeping up with my mouth, or my mouth is not keeping up with my head. One or the other, not sure. But I'm going to say goodbye for now, and thank you for taking the time to join me, even if I'm not very coherent tonight. And I will talk to you again soon. Take care and bye for now.